Greetings. Hello. It's your host, Young Chuck. I've just finished watching the 1998 film The Truman Show, starring everyone's favorite crazy Jim Carrey. Wow. What a feature film that was. Engaging, captivating. Even though I fell asleep for roughly 7 or 8 minutes in the middle of the film, I was able to wake up once more, rally, and jump right back into the plot without missing too many of the fine details. And after the movie ended, I went back and watched the scenes that I was asleep for. They were good. I only missed about 7 minutes. It's hard to root for any of the other characters in this film besides Truman Burbank, right? I like his wife, even though she is kind of merely nothing else besides a corporate shill. At least she has a relatively kind demeanor, even if she's full of hot air. Um, let's see. Well, this movie was good. It was deep, it gets you thinking. But I'm gonna fill you guys in. Maybe people see my content, or they see me and they think this guy, he likes deep things. He likes things that are smart and intelligent. I think you have me miscast. The more idiotic something is, the more it's to my tastes. So you don't have to feel like you have to suggest things that are of high intelligence or particularly artsy or deep, because I'm really much more shallow than that, and much more basic. Um, that's not to say I didn't enjoy The Truman Show. I did. It was a great movie, and I'm glad to have watched it. But I don't want you guys thinking that I'm some like deep artsy snob art house film kind of guy. I just like being entertained, man. So, fart jokes, I'm here for those, bruh. I will say, The Truman Show, I didn't hear one single fart joke. So, that's something maybe they forgot, but pro tip, fart comedy always works. This movie has led me to consider, well, what would it look like if my own life was being broadcast to the world, unbeknownst to me? What if my life was just some sick game to amuse other people? Well, I think the audience would be shocked as to how much I jerked off and how much weed I smoked in a day, right? And they would be saying, damn, this guy is healthy. He takes 2 shits a day. He must be eating lots of fiber, right? Or they'd say, he's gooning again? Damn, dude, he's fit to join the Goon Squad Olympics. This might be fucking the longest edging session everyone's ever recorded, dude. We should put this in the Guinness Book of World Records. So that's probably what my life would look like on camera. What would your life look like if you were being filmed? Would you like it? Would you not like it? Would you want to be the star? Or do you prefer to blend in the background? This film has also led me to consider one other thing. Most people say that, well, do whatever you want because no one is really watching, right? Everyone's thinking about their self. And mainly this is true. More often than not, people do only care about themselves, and they don't really care what you're doing. But there's a select few out there that are stars. They can't help but attract the attention of others, right? Everything they do is dripping in swag and dripping in star power, that it gets people talking. It gets people gossiping, right? I relate to Truman in that way. I'm a magnet for eyes and exposure, right? So sometimes the gaze of others can feel inescapable and tiring and exhausting. Sometimes we just want to be alone. In this day and age when we're all so plugged in, God, I shudder to think what the directors would have thought of a world today. Right? What might have The Truman Show looked like if it were made in 2025? I'd be gooning on camera, I'll tell you that. I'm just going to take a couple minutes to talk about what we could call maybe the main villain of this movie. He was a director, producer named Christoph, right? And he's been overseeing Harry Truman, or whatever his name, Truman Burbank's life since he was a little baby. And now Truman is a fully grown man. He's experiencing all sorts of thoughts of insanity, right? He's under surveillance 24/7, and he's starting to catch on. So obviously this is going to create tension between him and the creator. I'm merely mentioning this Christoph character's name simply because I like his hat. And I think that's the most captivating feature about him is his hat. I don't think we see enough of these hats in the world. And I think we're missing more of this exposure to these sorts of hats because I think it just gives you a unique look. So there's also a scene where our hero, Truman Burbank, is hunched over in the yard doing yard work in a really manly pose that seems lost to the times, right? We need to bring back an era where poses like this are commonplace, right? This is man's natural position. This is where he looks good, right? Masculinity and men everywhere will be healed if more of us assume this position in our gardens. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I really think that I need to touch on in this film. I thought it was well done. I really liked the ending scene where he's like leaving the town of Sea Haven and he realizes it's all in a dome and the clouds are painted on the wall and there's like a nice little staircase. That's really a nice backdrop. I kind of wish that I had my own walls painted like that, a nice cloudscape. It would help me relax at night, and in the morning it would make me wake up feeling refreshed and bright and full of youthful vigor. So, I like that. That was a nice touch. Anything else that we need to say? Fancy dog. Sorry if I got spit particles forming at the corners of my mouth. My mouth is perpetually dry because I'm on a diet of 1,000 bong rips a second. So that's why my mouth is dry. Okay, well, what movie should I watch tomorrow? We'll find out. Thank you for tuning in to Young Chuck Reviews Movies. That was the 1998 film The Truman Show, starring Jim Carrey. Well, what a watch. Probably I would recommend it to people that like films. So long. Bye-bye.